When Steven Guilbeault became Canada's Environment Minister, our very own Brian Lilley said this guy has no business whatsoever being in charge of, frankly, anything for this country. Hello, I'm Adrienne Batra. With me are Warren Kinsella and Brian Lilley. Okay, right over to you. So Guilbeault's latest gaffe, if you even want to call it that, is that the Canadian government is no longer going to apparently fund roads. So he's trying to crawl that back a little bit, but you have a little bit of history and background with Steven Guilbeault, and I said that you had written at the time he had no business being our
Yeah.
environment minister in the first place.
No, he really doesn't because he's a zealot. He's an activist who has been elected and put in charge of a very serious department that has enormous powers, especially with Bill C-69, the No More Pipelines bill, which the courts have declared it unconstitutional, and he's still trying to find a way to keep it alive and keep it going. That's how much of a radical and activist he is. And now he's made his comments about no more roads, no roads for you. I mean, what does government do? They build infrastructure. And yes, a local road is primarily the responsibility of a municipal government, but the federal government has been involved in funding roads in this country since Canada began. It's a major part of the infrastructure budget, but he thinks we've got enough roads. Why? Because he really doesn't like people driving. So everyone knows he was arrested for scaling the CN Tower. I believe he was also arrested for climbing on the roof of Ralph Klein's house while he was away and his wife was inside.
He was.
Yeah, and she's scared of what am I hearing on the roof? It's a scary eco-terrorist, Steven Guilbeault. The first time I meet him, I'm in the newsroom at 940 News in Montreal, and I get told by my editor, there's a protest that shut down a gas station in a couple blocks from here. We're in downtown. Go check it out. And I go, and there's this guy with one of those U bicycle locks that has the big, clip on the end. He's chained himself with this bicycle lock to a gas pump so that nobody could get gas because he just doesn't want people to drive. So now he's in charge of a big chunk of government, and he's saying, well, good luck driving if we don't build roads. You're bringing in 1 million people a year or more.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we don't have to build any more roads. What are you, an idiot?
Well, I mean, that's a kind way of perhaps putting it, Warren. I think that, the three of us talk every week and quite regularly about the unserious nature of Trudeau and his government in general. I don't know how serious anybody should really take Steven Guilbeault. I mean, this is the very same government that is now mandating electric vehicles for everybody, but where the hell are they going to drive the very electric vehicles that he wants us all to be driving? On what roads?
As my colleagues of the Daisy Group call him, uneven Steven. Like it's just one thing after another with this guy, and so he's hopeless. And I think the country's concluded that as well, not just Alberta and Saskatchewan. But here's the thing I don't get, and I'll throw it back at you guys because I still can't figure out the answer. The one file, the one issue, the one policy that Justin Trudeau has as his own, that Pierre Poilievre is in second place on. Poilievre is ahead of Trudeau on every single issue: healthcare, law and order, taxes, national defense, you name it. There's one issue that Trudeau owns, which is climate change and the environment. Why would you put in charge of the single file that may save your bacon a guy like Steven Guilbeault, who makes Rachel Notley look like Winston Churchill? Like, this guy's so far out there, it's not even funny. He's beyond the New Democrats. Why would you have a guy like that in charge of the most important policy that you've got vis-a-vis the fight that's coming up in the next election? I don't get it at all. Maybe you guys have an answer. I can't figure out what it is.
Well, I think in part it's because whenever Canadians get surveyed, they do say, oh, the environment is very important to me. But people vote with their pocketbook. And, we're feeling such an economic crunch and there's such an affordability crisis that issues like the environment perhaps come secondary in spite of everybody trying to do their own part. So, and also I think the other side of it is, and Brian's going to get the last word on this, is I don't think he had much bench strength left to appoint anybody in that position. Brian.
It reminds me of the story that I heard of when Bob Rae, Floyd Logren was Bob Rae's finance minister when he was in Ontario as premier, and Logren kept wanting to quit, and Bob would point at the caucus and say, "Okay, you pick your replacement," and then he'd say, "All right, I'll stay," because there was nobody there that could do the job. I'm pretty sure that a trained monkey, a doorstop, any of these things could do a better job than Steven Guilbeault, who he's caused fights with premiers across the country before, not just with Danielle Smith. Every premier across the country has been angry with him. They all took his Bill C-69 to court. So yeah, take him out. I was pretty confident he was gone in the last cabinet shuffle, and that was the only shocker to me, was that Guilbeault stayed, because he causes headaches for the Trudeau government. They put somebody sensible in there. Warren's right. It's an election winner for them. Maybe they'd start winning back some moderates. But you put in a radical, and even, nice, environmental loving, that's a big issue for them. They're going to say, what? No roads?
Yeah.
Just
think about that. Just think about that, Canada. Canada's environment minister has said the federal government is not interested in funding roads anymore. So you have to wonder, what are you paying all those taxes for? Well, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And go to the TorontoSun.com. You're going to find commentary and coverage on stories there that you will not find anywhere else.